Hello and welcome to the video that you've been waiting for, the trial of Chapter 1 Beneath the Veil of Hypocrisy. I am Yohi Guy, the developer of cartoons in Danganronpa 2, Rise of Despair, and this is going to be me playing this trial and trying to solve the case. You might have already seen my Connecting Cases video. If not, the link will be in the description, but how I predicted it, I just recommend you just looking at it for yourself as it shows what I predicted. But for now, I'm going to just look at the evidence one more time. So this is all the truth bullets that we've collected. I've already looked into them and tried to connect it all together. I have a person in mind that I think is the culprit. And as always, I'm going to be on kind difficulty. So I'm going to play through this no matter how many times I fail, because I can always do it again and again and again. Oh boy, this is going to be something. So let's begin. The class trial is in session.
Let's get this started, shall we? Welcome back to the trial grounds, everyone. Unlike previously, today will be no circus, no mockery woven with stitches and needles. A true, fair, and proper trial will commence. A battle of wits between the blackened and the spotless. I doubt I have to explain the rules to you again. But even so...
there's a mock portrait of Wolfgang there.
You must vote for who you believe is the blackened.
Yep.
If the blackened receives the majority of votes, only they will be punished, and the rest of you will resume your killing game experience. However, if you vote for the wrong person, then expect no sympathy from your hosts. All spotless students will meet a tragic end, or the blackened will be granted release from this academy. Happy discussing! We pray for your survival and success.
Yeah, Tozu is just really funny. There's Ava. And there's a Louise.
Can someone please break this silence?
I don't want to talk about this.
Wolfgang deserves justice. But putting everyone's lives on the line like this is just cruel.
But that's how the killing game works and how these trials go through.
Oh, crap. Without a lawyer, we're totally screwed. Whenever I turn my head, I keep expecting to see him at his podium.
Oh, don't cry, Toshiko. He's in a better place now, you hear?
Whichever one of you sick bastards did this, whatever it takes, no matter if I have to kick the brains out of every single person here, I'll find you.
Alright, Grace.
Do you really gotta resort to violence?
Let's just stay calm, okay? Making peace with our situation is, the first step in handling it.
Yeah.
How the hell can I stay calm when there's a killer on the loose? That bastard is watching us right now, fully content putting our lives on the line. Is that what you call peace? Being at the mercy of some dickhead silent observer?
Well, nobody knows for sure if the killer is even a silent observer.
Huh?
If anything, the killer might try to feign innocence through other means.
Huh.
For instance, pretending to be outspoken about the case.
Oh, I see where this is going. Huh?
What the? Are you accusing me of something?
I mean, what you did during the investigation seems really suspicious.
Yeah, that's true. Grace did kind of done the thing, but I can see her reason.
What did Grace do?
She stood in front of Wolfgang's dorm room and wouldn't let anyone go inside. Intentionally or not, it really hindered our investigation.
Because of Grace, almost everyone who planned to investigate Wolfgang's dorm gave up and went elsewhere. It was only after some of us started protesting that she finally relented. You know, for someone who seems so adamant about finding Wolfgang's killer, it's odd she tried to conceal potential evidence.
Ah, yeah, I see where this is going.
I'm not saying Grace is definitely the killer. I just think we should be cautious of her.
She's just emotional.
She has an alibi, though.
Wait, does she? Oh, yeah, she's in the tournament group.
Huh?
Yeah.
Grace couldn't have murdered anyone, 'cause she went to the game tournament.
True.
Grace attended the tournament?
Yep.
Does that rule her out from committing the murder?
Not really, but let's see how this goes.
Well, yeah. We had to be at the dining hall by 9 a.m.-ish, which was like half an hour before the murder.
Wait, we had to be at the dining hall at 9 a.m. half an hour before the... Wait, half an hour before... You mean half an hour after? Because the time was 9:35 a.m., not 8:30... What?
Nobody left the tournament after it started either. Nobody I know of, anyway.
Huh.
There weren't many of us there. Had someone disappeared, it would have been obvious.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Grace is off the hook? Wow. That plot thread resolved itself quicker than I was anticipating.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I thought we were going to go through the game.
So Jean, Grace, and Kai attended Cassidy and Jet's game tournament.
And me.
And Mark. Don't forget Mark.
And Mark.
Damon and I also attended the tournament. We can also vouch for Grace.
You guys aren't lying, are you?
Of course we're not. We did saw her there. Lying. About Grace?
What the heck? Are you seriously doubting 8 testimonies?
If the 8 of you were really together when Wolfgang was discovered, then Kai, doesn't that contradict what you said before the investigation?
What? What is Kai talking about?
You told everyone you and Damon found Wolfgang first. How is that possible if you guys never left the dining hall?
That's because the group left to get to the underground level to put up the generator. Oh boy. What happened here? Damon and me, we just found him like this. Oh yeah, I see why your mindset would go like that.
I never said I didn't leave the dining hall.
But we did.
But earlier you told us you were with the other attendees.
Okay, let us explain.
That's because us partygoers left the dining hall together.
Yeah, that's what Jet said.
Mm-hmm. When the blackout struck, the tournament folk joined arms and headed straight downstairs.
Exactly.
I would know. I saw him.
See?
There was a blackout?
Yes, there was a blackout.
You don't remember?
No, she won't.
Actually, I don't recall a power outage either.
Of course, you wouldn't as well. You weren't in the, dorm rooms.
How could that be? Did an alternate timeline converge with ours?
No. There's a good explanation for this. Why is it that some people can recall a blackout, but not others? There is a reason, you should know! Thinking back on the testimonies I've collected, I can probably make an educated guess. But not other people. Blackout affected one building. Yes, the blackout affected one building.
The reason not everyone experienced the blackout is because only the building containing our dorms was affected. If I had to guess, the courtyard and tree area are connected to separate power sources.
So the tournament attendees were affected, yet they left the dining hall? Why not stay put until the power returned?
Because we were trying to put on the backup generator.
Because we were the ones who brought it back.
Yeah, you were there.
It didn't seem like the power was being restored anytime soon, so we took up the challenge of fixing it ourselves. And just our luck, boom! We found a spare generator lying in one of the storage closets.
Yep, she's telling the truth.
Of course, then we found Wolfgang.
Yeah.
She's right. The 8 of us split into 4 pairs and inspected a storage room each.
Because of the toaster trinket map, we know which ones, too. Eva and Grace check storage closet A.
Yep.
Jet and I check storage closet B.
True.
Damon and Kai check storage closet C. And
Yep.
Jean and Mark check storage closet D.
She's telling the truth.
Yeah, I was with Grace. She can confirm being with me too.
Yep. She's silent.
Yeah, we were together.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't realize.
It's alright, Eloise.
I'm so sorry for what I said earlier.
It's alright. I do understand your point of view.
Sorry? You're sorry for accusing me of murder.
Calm down, Grace.
Sorry doesn't cut it, you conniving two-faced bitch! If you really want my mercy, then get on your knees and beg for it!
Damn!
Whoa! Uncool, dude.
Hang on. Even if you aren't involved in Wolfgang's murder, you must know something about his last known whereabouts.
Yeah, I know.
What makes you think she'd be privy to that?
You see, there's proof Grace spent last night with Wolfgang.
Yeah, there is, because she was bunk buddies.
Grace and Lawyer Man? Talk about an unexpected
They were
pairing.
bunk buddies, okay?
When I investigated Wolfgang's room, I saw a bunch of golfing equipment inside.
That's because he's a fan of pachinko. Wait, you saw... Did I saw golfing equipment in there? Oh, maybe? Did... Okay, that's kind of interesting.
Also, there was a blue woman's jacket tossed over the mantle of Wolfgang's bed.
Oh, I think I know where this is going. There's a bit of a communication. Yeah, Wolfgang and Grace are bunk buddies.
Ugh.
He's right. I also saw the equipment and the clothes.
Again, there's a reason.
The clothes are understandable, maybe. But why was golfing equipment in the room?
Yo, little history dude. Wolfgang must have spilt the beans with you, right?
Yeah,
Why would Ulysses know anything?
because he got all the documents.
Common courtesy. If you're gonna have a one-night stand, you gotta let your roomie know in advance.
Common courtesy also says you should watch your mouth around children.
True.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I'm getting this right, Ulysses is bunking with Wolfgang?
No, Ulysses was bunking with Winona.
Well, we only shared a dorm for one night.
Exactly.
You aren't bunking with him anymore?
Yeah.
Let me provide some context. As you may remember, after Desmond suggested everyone bunk together, the male students were directed to the dining hall.
Yep.
Once there, we played rock, paper, scissors to determine who would partner with who. Jet partnered with Mark, Desmond with Jean, Damon with Kai, and I with Wolfgang. Those were the pairings at the time. However, the following day, Grace and I agreed to swap rooms.
Exactly.
Yeah? Why'd you do that?
Because bunk buddies problems.
For reasons.
Reasons not involved, but it doesn't matter.
Totally not suspicious.
Yeah.
It was a win-win situation. I get Grace out of my hair. She gets me out of hers.
Exactly. Grace and Winona didn't like each other, so they just... Oh, yeah, I see the reason.
You two were originally bunking together?
Yeah.
The pairings were decided via a game of tic-tac-toe.
Really? Tic-tac-toe?
I wasn't big on my partner being chosen for me. So when the opportunity arose to change that, I took it.
Alright.
Thus, I became Winona's roommate, and Grace became Wolfgang's.
And that should explain why Grace was in Wolfgang's room. That part of the case solved. Let's move on.
Can confirm. I watched the whole thing play out.
And so did I.
Since the room swap happened the night after we implemented the bunk buddy system, that would mean Grace and Wolfgang have been bunking for about a day and a half.
True.
Gross.
And?
In that case, Desmond was right about those two being together last night.
Exactly.
Grace, did Wolfgang act strange at any point?
Yeah, she was sick.
Like, maybe he said something that stuck out to you, or...
She was sick. I mean, Wolfgang was sick.
Oh, maybe he had trouble getting to sleep.
Exactly.
No. Nothing weird happened last night.
But something happened this morning.
Nothing happened last night, but...
But?
The morning of the murder, this morning, Wolfgang told me he felt sick.
Yep!
Sick? With a stomachache. It hurt so bad he couldn't get out of bed. I was gonna cancel my plans for today, but he convinced me to attend the tournament. So, I left his room right after the morning announcement.
But there is a statement that might contradict this.
And yes, I'm talking about the game tournament. The same one Wolfgang acted all hesitant about attending.
But there's a contradiction.
Newsflash, I changed his mind after breakfast yesterday.
Yep.
Hold on a sec. That ain't what you told me this morning.
Yep. She was lying on that part.
What did Grace tell you?
Simply put, she felt like competing. Grace knew I planned to compete as well, so she asked me to be her sparring partner, since you needed one to enter the tournament.
Yep, but Wolfgang told Grace to get Sean.
She withheld information.
Aye, that she did.
Yeah, but there is a reason.
Of course, since I now know Wolfgang's condition at the time, I can't say I blame her.
And now I can see where this is going.
If someone you cared for was in a vulnerable position, would you go around and admit that in a killing game?
I guess so?
No. You would try to protect that person by saying nothing at all.
Yeah.
When you put it that way, man, sounds rough.
I think it's obtuse.
Yeah. Okay, let's see where this is going.
Say we assume the best of Grace. She withheld information not to trick anyone, but to protect someone she cares about. What then should we make of the glaring contradiction in her testimony?
Oh, yeah, because Wolfgang did get up.
What the hell do you mean, contradiction?
If your bunking partner was too ill to make the short trek to the dining hall, how did he walk all the way to the boiler room?
He was sick, but he went there anyway.
Good point. If Wolfgang really were bedridden, he would have stayed in his room.
But Toshiko's fetch quest is going to contradict this.
Now that you mention it, to reach the underground floor, wouldn't Wolfgang need to descend, like, 4 flights of stairs? It's nothing for a healthy person, but for a guy who's supposedly really sick...
Which might explain the blood marks.
It's not
maybe.
my fault it
Let's
doesn't
see
make
what we
sense.
get.
It's just what Wolfgang told me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't we decide Grace wasn't the killer anyway?
That's not to say she doesn't know more than she's letting on.
I guess so.
I'm not withholding anything else. Leave me alone.
Okay. There is more to the story than Grace is telling us. Too many people are letting their emotions cloud their judgment. I need to solve this mystery and set things straight. Here we go! So what do we got? We got game tournament, Tozu tablet, and Toshiko's.
Why don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
I've got nothing else to explain. The last I saw Wolfgang, he was in our dorm room.
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallways.
No.
We would have found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
No.
That, or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
I wouldn't lie about what he said.
What if Wolfgang used the elevator in the tree?
No.
Helping.
Okay. There's a major dissimilarity in Grace's testimony, but it's necessarily at fault for that.
What?
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
No, that's wrong! Toshiko's fetch quest. Oh, damn, that was hard. This was just the first one.
Grace's testimony is inconsistent with where we found Wolfgang's body, but that's not Grace's fault.
Exactly.
The only person we should be blaming is Wolfgang himself.
Yeah.
What the heck? Why are you blaming him?
Simple. Because he lied about being sick.
True.
Seriously?
You can cooperate. Can't you, Toshiko? During the investigation, you told me you saw Wolfgang in the hallways at 8:10 a.m.
That's after I left.
Yes. I remember now. Ingrid. She had developed a headache, so I went to the pharmacy to find some medication. The trip itself went fine, but when I returned to the hallway, I found myself face to face with...
Wolfgang?
With Wolfgang?
Yep.
Hold the phone! Toshiko actually saw Wolfgang?
Yep.
We had a normal, pleasant exchange. He appeared perfectly healthy and even mentioned going to the tournament. Of course, he never made it.
I don't want to be that guy, but can anyone confirm this?
Ingrid can.
Mm-hmm. I heard them chatting a while in my room.
Mm-hmm.
Though I was bedridden like a sitting ghost, I could still make out their voices here and there.
Yep.
Strange. He told Grace he wouldn't attend the tournament, but then said the opposite to Toshiko.
Sounds like he was telling fibs to conceal his actual intentions.
Yep.
And what's his true plan supposed to be?
Heading to the boiler room to meet someone.
To go to the boiler room. Most likely.
Yep.
I'm lost. What business would a guy like him have down there?
A meeting. There's a suspicious note. Why did Wolfgang go to the boiler room? That I can also answer. Suspicious note, suspicious note, suspicious note, suspicious note. There's the suspicious note. Boom!
This is it. During the investigation, I found this note tucked away inside Wolfgang's blazer pocket. A lot of it is water damaged. The paper looks like it was ripped from a notebook, and the handwriting was done in ink. But some parts are still legible.
Secret. 8:15 a.m. Boiler room. Close the door.
This mentions the boiler room.
Yep.
Exactly. The fact we found Wolfgang in the boiler room, and this note in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be a coincidence. This note must be the reason Wolfgang went there.
Uh-huh.
That mention of a secret sure is suspicious. I'm willing to bet Wolfie's reason had something to do with it.
The blackmail.
Agreeing to meet a stranger in some spooky dark place? Wolfgang had nerves of steel.
Blackmail.
Ulysses, Grace, do you remember Wolfgang getting delivered a weird note?
No. The only time I recall him receiving anything was when Tozu distributed those envelopes.
The blackmail.
I don't know anything about a note.
Really? Wolfgang shared nothing with you guys?
Guess he didn't want them to know what it said.
Right. And if Wolfgang wanted to keep this note a secret, he would obviously want to keep the meeting a secret too.
True.
Then the reason he told Grace he felt sick
was to remove her from the picture. Yeah.
Yep.
Once she's not in the room, Wolfgang has his opportunity to sneak out and head downstairs. That's also why he encouraged her to attend the tournament.
Exactly.
Didn't this same guy ask us to share our blackmail with each other? Talk about double standards.
True.
Are we sure he wasn't just trying to protect Grace? Maybe he knew he was meeting someone dangerous, so he thought it would be safer not to involve her.
That does sound like something Wolfgang would do.
Not to interrupt, but...
But what, Ulysses?
On the subject of blackmail, did Wolfgang ever confront the person he had?
No, he didn't. I don't think so.
Oh? You don't know whose blackmail he got?
Nope.
Well, if you recall what Wolfgang said originally.
For that reason, I implore you to all to speak with the person whose blackmail you have, and them only. Even if the contents of the envelope seems horrible, give the person a chance to explain themselves.
Regardless of the blackmail's contents, it would be treated as a matter between the recipient and the subject of the blackmail, and no one else. Which makes me wonder, could whether or not Wolfgang confronted his person clue us into what had originally been written on that note?
I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
If that person somehow realized Wolfgang carried their blackmail, but never came forward about it, they could have demanded Wolfgang show it to them, hence the mention of a secret.
Yeah.
However, if Wolfgang did confront his person, I don't see why that same person would then send him a threatening note.
And he didn't because I had his blackmail.
Not least act coy about information they both know.
If the person being blackmailed wasn't the one who wrote the note, who was?
Obviously, it would be the student with Wolfgang's blackmail.
Oh, I knew that.
Huh?
Yes, the secret in question may actually be a reference to Wolfgang's blackmail, not the sender's.
Is there any way to figure out whose secret it is?
We'd probably need to know whose blackmail Wolfgang had first.
We probably need to know whose blackmail Wolfgang had first, which, I have it.
Oh, I've got just the idea. Yo, person who Wolfgang had blackmail on, if he gave you your blackmail back, can you say something?
Don't forget the person with Wolfgang's blackmail.
Oh, right. Hey, person who's got Wolfgang's blackmail.
Yep.
If you're innocent, say something already.
I should say something. Yeah. If I'm innocent, I should say something. Would telling everyone I have Wolfgang's blackmail really guaranteed my innocence in their eyes? I don't know. Although, everyone may follow my direction during the trial since they can't ignore the evidence on my side. When it comes to me, of all people owning Wolfgang's blackmail, how do I know they won't suddenly change their tune? They might chastise me for not revealing his blackmail sooner, or maybe they'll think I'm confessing and accuse me of murdering him. It's not like I wouldn't be able to refute their arguments, but I do really want to subject myself to all of that. Does the trajectory of this trial really depend whether or not I
was hesitant to admit it, since I knew it would put me on the spot.
What?
But I'd rather be suspected than be the reason this trial comes to a standstill.
Huh? Eh?
Are you confessing? Do you have Wolfgang's blackmail?
No, I think this is where Wolfgang gave the blackmail to John. Maybe.
Nah, not his.
Yeah.
Seriously? Way to be anticlimactic.
However, it's thanks to him that I have my own.
Yeah.
Your own?
Wolfgang approached me the same day everyone received an envelope. Funnily enough, it happened right after I'd finished speaking with my own person. He and we had a good talk. He gave me his envelope and asked me to take care of it. If you need the proof.
Ah, Wolfgang's envelope had the same signature.
Yeah.
Aye. I held on to the letter for safekeeping. This should have all been said sooner. I realize that. I suppose my pride was stronger than my rectitude. My mistake for stringing everyone along.
I mean, at least you're honest.
Truth! Thanks for letting us know, bud.
Indeed. To acknowledge one's own misdoings is a most virtuous feat, I believe.
Right. It's very noble.
Yeah, which means I need to say that you have the blackmail. If I revealed my blackmail right now, would everyone here treat me the same? Would they be just as forgiving?
I take it our other blackmail person isn't gonna step forward?
No, I'm gonna step forward. Please step forward.
If nothing happens, let's just have everyone recite whose blackmail they got one by one.
Yeah, that would make sense.
You sure that's a good idea?
Yeah.
No one's reciting shit.
It was only a suggestion. Calm your farm.
Even if we knew who had Wolfgang's blackmail, that doesn't necessarily mean they're his killer.
That's possible.
It's annoying they won't speak up, sure. But unlike John, they would actually need to reveal Wolfgang's blackmail to prove they have it. This person might just want to respect Wolfgang's request to keep the blackmail between two people, especially now that he's gone.
That's a good way of putting it.
I don't know. Is it really okay if we never find out?
Yeah.
Circumstantial evidence alone can't prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. If we want to solve this case, we need indisputable evidence.
True.
Yeah. It's like doing a jigsaw puzzle without the box art to help you.
Yeah.
The cases, or...
Obviously, the case.
Yeah.
The more pieces you connect, the clearer the image you're constructing becomes.
That's pretty much what I did when I looked at all the truth bullets.
The clearer the image, the more you can assume about it.
Exactly.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're
Once we
saying.
know how Wolfgang died, the rest of this case should fall into place.
Exactly. Like completing a comic.
You certainly talk a lot. Stranger than you used to. But I think I get it.
Well, I don't want to be the one to start, but we can all agree Wolfgang was stabbed to death, right?
No, we don't! We can't agree that he was stabbed. Stabbed to death?
When I was in the boiler room, I saw a knife bobbing around in the water near him.
But there's no blood on Wolfgang.
And on the ground, there was blood. Dried blood. On the boiler room floor and on the hallway floor.
That's gotta be Wolfgang's blood, right?
Maybe? No, it's not. There's no blood on the body.
The knife was bloody, so...
Huh. Seems like a brawl happened in the hallway.
No, because Wolfgang didn't suspect it.
While poor Wolfie was minding his own business, he was confronted by the killer, who attacked him and chased him into the boiler room.
That did not happen.
That would line up with how we found him.
Nope. The killer stabbed Wolfgang in the hallway, then followed him into the boiler room? No, that's not what happened. I need to show everyone where they've gone wrong. And here we go again! Wolfgang hands, blood spots.
Is this really how you guys think Wolfgang died?
The bloody knife is way too big of a coincidence. It was floating in the water right next to him.
Not just that. There's blood on the boiler room floor and along the underground hallway.
A confrontation must have happened in those hallways.
Nah, it was probably a sneak attack. The killer snuck up on Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind. And the rest is history.
With that knife-wielding villain on his tail, Wolfgang had no other place to run but the boiler room.
So, the killer entered the boiler room after him, which was when they, ended it.
It all makes sense.
No. Whatever story they're trying to spin here, it's definitely not the truth. Yeah, the Tozu tablet proves that it can't be the case.
Is this really how
The killer snuck up on Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind.
No!
No, that's wrong!
That's wrong!
Jed, you talk a lot about the knife and the bloodstains on the floor. But did you ever look at Wolfgang himself?
I gave him a glance. Nothing too deep.
But there's no blood on him. There's no stab wounds. There's no 28 stab wounds! Just no blood on him at all.
I figured. Had you actually taken the time to look at Wolfgang's back, you would have noticed a clear absence of stab wounds.
Exactly.
In fact, none of the injuries he sustained were the type to cause severe blood loss.
Exactly.
Seriously. We went over the same thing with Cassidy during the mock trial. Couldn't you give Wolfgang the dignity of a proper investigation?
Hey, man! It's not like I didn't try! It's just... this stuff doesn't come easy, you know? Nobody wakes up thinking they'll have to solve their buddy's murder later.
Isn't that exactly what you should be worrying about in a killing game?
Not everyone has the stomach for investigating. That's fine. That's why you got people like me to do the heavy lifting. Since some of us here weren't able to investigate Wolfgang's body, I'll lay out his injuries. There were 2 marks on the back of his neck, a bruise, and a tiny red dot.
Huh.
His hands were burnt too, so 3 injuries in total. Besides that, I caught nothing else.
Burns, you say?
Junior high, my dear Wilson. The killer used a flamethrower.
No, he didn't.
These didn't look like normal burns. Not the sort you'd get from a stove fire, or a hot iron, or a flamethrower, I suppose.
Contradicting my theory outright? Jeez. So this is the thanks I get for vocalizing my thoughts?
Sorry, lass.
Yes, if I may add on to what John said. The burns actually bore a strong resemblance to what you might see in cases of corona paralysis.
Corona paralysis?
Chiaro... Huh?
What's that?
Ooh, now this I know.
Tell me.
Coronoparalysis. It's something which happens to lightning strike victims.
Oh, so he was electrified to death.
Getting struck by lightning is like getting kicked by a horse. The impact is so shocking. Some people will lose all feeling in their limbs for a few hours.
I was aware of lightning paralysis, but even I didn't know its official name. That's a nice head you've got on your shoulders.
Lots of people tend to overlook the importance of lightning safety, especially where I'm from. My grandpappy once tried working out in the open during a thunderstorm. Pure luck's the only reason he lived to see the next day.
Sorry to hear that and all, but what does lightning have to do with anything?
It proves that he was electrified to death.
Well, if I had to guess, Ulysses, did it look like a big old tree was drawn on Wolfie?
Big old what?
A big old tree. Yes, that's how I would describe the burns on Wolfgang.
So Wolfgang had lightning strike scars?
Huh.
Huh? We're trapped inside a building, though. Lightning can't come from anywhere.
But it proves that he was electric shock.
Could he not have been struck before the killing game?
No.
Fate might is stronger than will, you know.
No,
Perhaps
no.
the deity decreed the glow of his altruism from their heavenly abode and felt him a threat.
Nay, those burns were fresh. One look was all it took for me to know that. If he had these scars before, we would have noticed them anyway.
But if those marks were recently inflicted, wouldn't it mean Wolfgang somehow went
No, 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 no. He was electrified.
Not necessarily. This is only something I thought of just now, but the reason Wolfgang sustained burns similar to that of lightning strike victims may be because whatever inflicted his burns was equivalent in damage to a lightning strike.
Yeah.
You saying there's something out here channeling the power of lightning?
The generator, you idiot. Something equivalent in damage to a lightning strike? The idea sounded ridiculous, but when I think back on the boiler room and what was inside it, the generator. Right. If I take that object into consideration, Ulysses' theory starts to hold weight. That would be the generator.
This is it.
Yep!
Ulysses, since you write everything down, do you have a description of the boiler room in your notebook?
Yes, I do. Why?
Since some people here never investigated the crime scene, they probably aren't as familiar with the room as we are.
Okay, that's good to use. Pretty much let someone describe the room so they would know what it is.
So, you should read out your description of it.
Sure. The boiler room consists of a small concrete platform surrounded by ankle-deep water. Throughout the room are boxes filled with various garbage, and in the back looks to be a generator, charred beyond belief. What you just heard is a brief summary of my notes.
Hear that? There's a generator inside the boiler room. Of all the things which could deal similar damage to a lightning strike, doesn't a generator sound the most likely?
Yeah.
Didn't Ulysses say it was destroyed?
But it could be destroyed when the blackout happened.
At the time of the investigation, sure. But it wasn't always destroyed. You probably don't remember. But back when we found the dummy, I mentioned something about the underground floor.
Dining hall people, you were in this building before. Tell us what's going on. Yeah, why didn't you mention this other girl? The hell? I never even saw her. Huh? You were there too, bargain bin. Yeah, I am gonna do the voices for the trial because I haven't do much voices here. Don't even. There's a floor below us. That's where I woke up.
To be more specific, it was the boiler room I woke up inside.
Exactly.
I hadn't been alone either. Ava was also there.
Yep.
I woke up first.
Yep.
Yeah. She did. Anyway, Ava, you agree the generator was in full working condition when we woke up, right?
Right.
So in the time since you woke up there, the generator was destroyed?
Nope.
It's the only possibility. As for what destroyed the generator, well, it's hard to say for sure.
Oh god, here we go. Okay, whoever shows up here is going to die in Chapter 2. Let's see who's going to die in Chapter 2.
Don't waste my time.
Winona! She's going to die in Chapter 2. And this is where I'm going to learn about this whole thing.
First, destroyed is overly vague. Ulysses explained the state of the generator much better. Charred beyond belief. Second, and more importantly, where's your proof the generator inflicted those burns?
What are you talking about? The generator must be involved. It's near where Wolfgang is lying.
Being within range of something counts as proof now, does it? Do you also consider happenstance as conclusive evidence? Funny how the standards shift, if so.
That?
Damn it! She's trying to make me look like an idiot. If I let this continue, the others might start to doubt me. I need to stop her before she fears the trial off track. Huh? Okay. Ha! You thought you were the only one with an interjection animation. Think again! Sometimes a student will dislike your argument so much that they will initiate a one-on-one debate with you with this rebuttal showdown. During rebuttal showdown, when opponents will fling flurry marks at you, it's your job to encounter them. Okay. Use the WASD key to slice through your opponent's argument. You'll slash in the direction of the press button press. To slice diagonally, press the two keys at the same time. Be sure to pay close attention to the size, shape, and position of the opponent's remark, as they will clue you into what direction would slice. Every time you strike white text, the green side of the screen will shift left to represent your argument succeeding. Likewise, every time you miss white text, the orange side of the screen will shift right to show that your opponent is winning. If you cut enough through remarks, you'll advance to the next stage. If you haven't, you'll retreat. If you're somewhere in the middle, you and your opponent will wrestle for control, in short, of crossroads. Okay. Now to the meat of the duel. Truth blades. Similar to non-stop debate, any suspected contradictions will be highlighted in gold. Right-click to slice them apart with the truth blade. Of course, you don't start slicing the second you see gold. Access vulnerability marks and check if your truth... Okay. Alright.
While the generator may look suspicious, consider the time frame we're working with. If the only time you saw the generator in full working condition was on the day of our kidnapping, that gives us a period of almost 4 days, in which the generator might have been destroyed.
What about the blackout? It's impossible for the generator to cause the blackout if it was already broken prior to the tournament.
What about the blackout? The building may very well have lost its power at any point before or after.
I'll cut through those words!
There you go!
When the blackout happened, it froze a piece of equipment which had been set up for the game tournament.
Ah, that was hard.
Mark's DJ pad.
Yep.
While there was no physical clock inside the dining hall, a digital one has been built into Mark's pad. If you look at what time the digital clock is frozen on, it matches the time of death listed on the tablet, 9:35 a.m.
Well, Mark, is this true?
This is true! And you're gonna die next chapter!
There's no point in me saying anything when someone else has already said it better.
Yep!
Just answer with a yes or no, will you?
Yes.
In any case, the matching times are too much of a coincidence.
Exactly.
The destruction of the generator caused the blackout, and the blackout occurred at the time of the murder. There's no way the destruction of the generator wasn't tied to Wolfgang's death.
Exactly.
What do you suppose happened then?
I'm willing to bet the generator's destruction resulted in the boiler room's water becoming electrified.
Exactly.
Since Wolfgang was discovered kneeling in the water, we can reason he was standing in it at the time this happened.
Are you telling me there's gonna be another one?
Damon.
Oh.
You and I both
never
know
mind.
that's not true.
Yeah, but there's another reason.
Huh?
Did you forget? It's impossible for the water in the boiler room to play a role in Wolfgang's murder, because it isn't even conductive.
Yeah, but then the generator was destroyed, so that means there won't be any electricity.
It's not? After Damon and I woke up in the boiler room, I wanted to investigate the flooded area. So, I tested the water.
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Ava approach the pile of boxes and fish out a light bulb. Then, without hesitation, plop! She chucked it into the water.
I even redid my test during the investigation, since Damon wasn't sure if he should touch Wolfgang's wet clothes.
Yeah, but it was electric before then.
In both instances, I proved the water was safe to enter.
Yeah, that was afterwards.
To be honest, neither result really surprised me. Water will only act as a conductor if it makes contact with two separate energy sources. The boiler room's generator is just one source.
But then another source is the extension cord!
If you're standing in the water, one outlet should be enough. Speaking from experience, large bodies of water are terrifying conductors during storms. All it takes is one lightning bolt, and the surrounding miles are scorched.
Exactly.
But the generator is a slow, persistent source of electricity. It's not the same as a lightning strike.
Electricity is electricity. Doesn't matter how it manifests.
Yeah.
The reason you two avoided electrocution is because the generator's exposed wires aren't even touching the water.
Exactly!
If they were, you would have been scorched right from the start.
Maybe when the generator was destroyed, some of the wiring fell into the water?
Nah. Even in its current sorry state, the generator's wires are nowhere near the water.
It doesn't make sense for the generator to pose a danger anyway. The point of the killing game is for the students to kill each other, not for the facility to kill the students.
But the students can able to use the facility to trigger things that will kill the person.
A feature of the building killing a student would be a meaningless death because you can't attribute a student killer to it.
Not true.
As for why the generator's been charred, sometimes electrical faults happen. Even my ship's engines have broken under particularly relentless storms. And if an electrical fault caused Wolfgang's death, then his murder is purely on the hosts, ain't it?
Of course! If we were responsible for his death, your lot wouldn't be here discussing it.
Is the generator really unrelated to the case? But the timing of the blackout, it's too perfect. It can't be a coincidence.
Okay, since we've ruled out the generator, what else could have electrocuted Wolfgang?
The extension cord.
Yeah, it mightn't be relevant, but I did see one other thing on the boiler room floor. A toy gun or something. At least,
a taser
that's how
gun.
It came across to me.
Yeah, a taser gun.
Not a toy gun, a taser gun.
Yeah.
A taser? I'll shoot electricity!
I'm not sure how the taser fits in with this case, though. It doesn't seem to have been used.
Actually, Desmond said that the blast doors are open, therefore it had been used.
Nope. The taser was definitely used.
Tell him, Desmond.
How so? I didn't catch any sort of string protruding from it.
Not all taser guns release a string when fired. Some are completely wireless. For those types, you can tell they've been used if their blast doors are missing. Side note, blast doors are plastic panels which cover the muzzle of a taser. If a shot is fired, they pop clean off. When I was investigating the crime scene, I found the taser gun in one spot and its blast doors in another. Speaks for itself, yeah?
And here I was thinking the yellow bits were just random trash.
Where the heck did a taser gun even come from? Last time I checked, there weren't any lying around in the storage closets.
Maybe one in Desmond's room?
Maybe it belongs to someone here.
Maybe?
Huh?
Just think about it for 1 second. Everyone here has a dorm room which is themed around their talent. Mine's got DJ equipment, Jet's got car batteries. If that's what we have with our talents, what could someone with a dangerous talent have?
And I'm guessing it's going to be
Are you
Desmond.
talking about, like, Knives and stuff?
Yeah.
What? Is there something on my face?
Forget this. The person I'm talking about is Desmond.
Huh?
No way! You think the gun is Desmond's?
Yeah.
Hang on. You've got it all mixed up.
Jean, do you know anything about this? As Desmond's roommate, perhaps you spotted something inside his dorm.
Alas, we stayed at my abode. I couldn't tell you if he had weapons.
Talk about suspicious.
Did Desmond agree to bunk in Jean's dorm so Jean wouldn't see the weapons in his?
Listen, I get where you guys are coming from, but that taser gun, it's not mine. I've never seen anything like it.
No, that's a lie.
A lie?
His attempt to feign innocent won't fool me, not when I know the truth. What proves his talent?
A marksman is
like I said.
Oh fuck, I messed up. His blackmail?
I got it.
Yeah!
The blackmail Tozu gave us. That's my evidence.
You didn't get mine, did you?
No. But the person who did informed me of what it said.
With his weapon at hand, Desmond guards the only one he trusts.
The writing style seems to match. I think it's legit.
That's more than a little suspicious, don't you think? Leaving a bunch of weapons unguarded during a killing game?
Don't judge me. This is the first time I'm hearing of it too.
You didn't know there were weapons in your room?
Yep, no idea.
Really? Because we knew that... Oh, okay, fine.
Our rooms aren't particularly subtle in their theming. Are we supposed to believe yours is any different?
It is themed. I'm not denying that. But I sure as hell didn't catch sight of any weapons.
Are you sure about that?
If I did, do you seriously think I'd leave them unguarded and risk being found out?
Yeah. Desmond cares too much about everyone. He pointed out the broken doorknobs and gave us the idea to bunk together. Why would he hide weapons in his room?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside. There's no other way to explain it.
So while Desmond gets a bunch of guns, all I get is an old game console and a dead controller?
Take the bad with the good, dearest pupil. No one fears game consoles. Well, no one besides parents and the religiously inclined.
Enough talking about consoles. Why are you guys believing Desmond so easily? If the taser gun belongs to him, then he's the killer. Any
No, because he wasn't there.
Is just a flimsy excuse.
Okay, let's do another non-stop debate. Okay, so I kind of crashed earlier. There was a bit of a bug, so I had to restart the whole thing. Sorry in advance.
Desmond is the killer.
But Desmond.
I got it.
Yep, consent. Break. Oh boy.
Regardless of whether or not Desmond knew about the gun, he definitely wasn't involved in the murder. Eloise can back me up on this.
Yeah, alibi.
Right. Desmond and I, we were together in the courtyard at the time of Wolfgang's death.
I see. Then both of you can be ruled out as suspects.
Don't just take her word for it. She could be covering for Desmond.
Jeez, if you have a bone to pick with these guys, at least save it for when we're not solving a murder.
Yeah. Why don't you want to believe Eloise?
Ever since the investigation, these two yuppies have been on my case non-stop. They're obviously working together.
Why?
Not gonna lie, I see where Grace is coming from. When Eloise tried to single her out earlier, Desmond was pretty quick to jump in and agree.
Even so, since the topic has been brought up, I would like to mention something. During my trip to the pharmacy, I believe I saw Desmond and Eloise in the courtyard together.
See? That should be their alibi.
You also said you were back in the hallways around 8-10 a.m., didn't you?
But before then...
That means those two were wandering around unsupervised. Either one of them could have left the courtyard.
If Desmond was the killer, what would Eloise gain from defending him?
Exactly.
Should the wrong vote be cast, nothing about the rules suggests an accomplice of the killer would be exempt from execution.
Exactly.
That's right. And even if she was exempt, Eloise is too nice to be an accomplice to murder.
Exactly.
Grace, I realize Desmond's irked you, but that's no reason to keep steering everyone down a dead end. Let's move on.
Yep.
A person who's always steering others down a dead end, huh? I guess they needed a GPS. Anyway, we should totally thank Desmond for clearing things up now. Not only do we know he's not the killer, now we know how the killer got their hands on the taser.
But how do we know that the killer had the taser?
Now we know how... What?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent, and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Yup, that is word for word what Desmond said.
Right. Good memory.
All in a day's work, baby!
Can you repeat that quote, Cassidy?
Say it.
Again. But I just said it.
Yeah, but I want you to say it again.
Say it.
Alright. Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Yeah.
Is there something on your mind?
Yeah.
If Desmond's testimony is anything to go by, then wouldn't this mean the culprit has to be male?
Why? Because... Why? Because... Boys, anyone could enter the dorms, regardless of gender.
What?
If I remember correctly, all the guys were aware of each other's pairings. With that sort of knowledge, a male student could try and infiltrate another male student's dorm.
None of us knew which room we'd be bunking in.
Exactly.
It only takes a quick peek to check if someone's inside or not. Anyone could have done that.
True.
And who's to say the thief didn't barge in before we started bunking?
Exactly.
Or while people were having breakfast.
Uh-huh.
Seems there was a mountain of opportunities for our culprit to sneak in unnoticed.
Exactly.
Doesn't exactly help us narrow things down, does it?
Yeah. Makes it difficult.
Well, guess this taser gun was a bust.
Exactly.
Look on the bright side. If it's been fired, then it's probably what electrocuted Wolfie.
Not really.
If trying to suss out who stole it isn't feasible, why don't we talk about Wolfie's other injuries instead?
That we can do.
You know, the ones that weren't burn marks? Those seem like they could lead us somewhere.
Yeah. Besides the burns on his hands, Wolfgang also had a bruise and a tiny red dot on the back of his neck.
Yeah.
A bruise and a tiny dot, huh? Want to try tackling them in alphabetical order?
Alphabetical order? Now, aren't you full of smart ideas?
No need to thank me. It's only common sense.
Okay, let's discuss the bruise first.
It came from the rolling pin. Please show me the rolling pin. Yep.
I think it's safe to say the killer didn't use a flamethrower.
Exactly.
Maybe Wolfgang got into a fight?
Nope.
Someone might have attacked him and
that
aimed for his neck.
Yep.
If you can even reach that high.
Either way, something must have hit him.
Which is the rolling pin! Yeah!
Kai is right. Something did hit Wolfgang.
Really? Man. And I was only blurting out the first thing which came to mind. Anyway, from how you're wording things, do you know what that something is?
Yep.
A rolling pin.
A rolling pin.
Eh?
Wolfgang was hit with a rolling pin.
How on earth did you reach that conclusion?
Ava and I found this pin inside storage closet A, which is just a few feet from the crime scene. Coincidentally, the pin also has a dent.
Ha! That's actually a good...
You sure that's enough to say it's involved?
Yeah.
Could just be a flimsy pin.
No. There's something else which solidifies this pin's role in the murder. Handprints. 2 of them on the edge of the pin.
Yeah.
So the killer used a rolling pin to attack Wolfgang?
It certainly explains the bruising on his neck.
They must have wanted him to be unconscious so he wouldn't fight back.
That's a good point.
Exactly. It would be easier to drag him into the water if he's not awake.
Except that oh wait.
You reckon the killer purposely put Wolfie in the water?
No, that's not what I'm thinking.
Damn! With one electrified blow, Wolfgang is zapped to bits with the taser! Since he's lying in the water, he's definitely a goner.
Considering the logical ethos of the killer's rectitude.
No,
especially when
there's a
government
reason.
constricting Pressure, leaving him catatonic would be the most facile solution.
No, there's a reason. No.
I guess it makes sense.
No, it doesn't. After shooting Wolfgang with the taser, what was the killer's next move? If I figure it out, I'll be one step closer solving the case.
So let me get this straight. The killer knocked out Wolfgang with a rolling pin, and then chucked the pin into Closet A?
When exactly did they discard the pin?
They couldn't have done it when Eva and I were already downstairs, because the 2 of us went inside Closet A.
Why were you inside the closet?
To find the backup generator, remember? Jed and I checked Closet B. Damon and Kai checked Closet C. Eva and Grace checked Closet A. And Jean and Mark checked Closet D.
The killer just discarded the pin. Before we came downstairs.
Yeah, I think Mark's right. 'Cause the killer could run upstairs and go back to their room immediately after discarding the pin.
Just because the killer placed the pin earlier doesn't mean they left before we arrived.
Because the killer could run upstairs and go back to their room immediately after discarding the pin.
No, that's wrong!
No, that's wrong!
Diana, there's proof the killer fled the underground hallway at a later time.
Yeah.
When the tournament attendees were looking for a backup generator, Kai and I heard someone run past our room.
Huh?
Oh man, that's right. We were just exploring the closet when all of a sudden we heard footsteps in the hallway. That's when Damon decided he was gonna follow where the footsteps came from and entered the boiler room.
Yeah, this is true.
Did anyone else hear these footsteps?
Ava did.
Nope. Not ringing any bells.
Yeah, Jet and me didn't really hear it over all our talking.
I heard the footsteps.
Exactly.
Huh? You did?
Well, I initially thought it was my imagination, so I never said anything.
Ashamed to say I also brushed off the footsteps. Thought I was hearing things.
He heard it! He heard it!
However, since other people can attest to hearing them.
Then someone else was on the underground floor with us.
Exactly!
Before anyone tries to bring it up, none of the tournament attendees could have been the person running.
Or maybe...
Since everyone explored the closets in pairs, they all have solid alibis.
Or maybe not.
I'm sure we can all vouch for that, aye?
Everyone was still in their closets after Damon and I found Wolfgang. So...
Considering the footsteps were moving away from the crime scene, I think it's safe to say they belong to the killer.
Wouldn't that mean the killer fled while you guys were exploring the rooms?
Hold up! So the killer had been right next to us?
Doy, that's a given.
But there's a reason why they can't go outside.
Huh? How are you so calm after hearing that? The only thing which stood between us and a murderer was a door. What if they attacked us?
They wouldn't, because there's 2 people inside.
Well, they didn't, so I don't see what the problem is.
Sheesh, you're weird.
Why not run away earlier, though? Fleeing while everyone is searching seems really risky.
Because there was a door.
Maybe it was a miscalculation?
Nope, the door.
It's not impossible, I guess.
If not that, then maybe the killer returned to the boiler room after discarding the pin?
Nope, it was...
neat-headed if you ask me.
Yes, you'd think a killer would use that moment to run away.
For the 2 who heard the footsteps, describe the sound.
It was kinda... socky.
They removed their shoes.
As in, it sounded pretty soft. Like the person had taken off their shoes.
Saki, huh? Seems this killer was purposefully trying to keep quiet.
Exactly.
Because their footsteps were soft?
Yeah.
That seems like a leap in logic.
No, I get what she's saying.
She's trying... The killer tried...
Everyone here has socks on, I'm pretty sure. So any one of us could have run down the hallway. The thing with shoes is, not everyone here has the same kind.
Exactly, yeah.
If the killer had worn theirs, we might have been able to figure out their footwear from the sound it made on the floor. Then we just have to single out the person with that footwear. Man, it would have been so easy to find the killer.
We already can find the killer, though.
Yeah.
Oi, are you pulling our leg?
I'm completely serious.
Yeah.
Picture a map of the building complex in your head. The building with the dorms is on the left, the courtyard is in the middle, and the building with the tree is on the right. Now, try and pin everyone's locations during Wolfgang's murder. Once you do that, the identity of the killer will definitely become clear.
Is the killer someone whose position we can't place?
Huh. And who would that be? Huh.
Eh?
Sorry, I kind of skipped some stuff.
Wolfgang's killer can easily lie about their location during the murder. The only thing distinguishing their testimony from everyone else's is that theirs can't be corroborated.
In which case, a killer... Yes, that's right. The only one here who can possibly be the killer... is you! So, what's the question? Who is the student without an alibi? That should be Diana.
It has to be you!
Diana, it's you, isn't it?
Her? The makeup girl?
She's the only one here without an alibi.
Yeah.
Those of us who attended the tournament can obviously be ruled out. And as for those who didn't, Desmond and Eloise were in the courtyard. Toshiko and Ingrid were in the same dorm room.
What about Winona? She never mentioned an alibi.
Give me a break.
Winona and I were in the building with the tree all morning. In fact, yes, Desmond and Eloise should have witnessed us walking over there, as those two were in the courtyard at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
In that case, Diana really is the only one without an alibi.
Guys,
If she's the person who fled the boiler room, those footsteps we heard make a lot more sense. Heels make a pretty loud clop sound on hard floors, and the underground hallway's floor is pretty hard. Diana would obviously want to take them off. Also, heels aren't comfy to run in.
Whoa! I didn't even think of it like that. You're totally right, though. Since Diana's the only one here with heels, she would have to take them off.
guys, what are you talking about? Me? A killer? Do you really think I could be a killer?
The fact you weren't at the tournament is incriminating enough.
Not just that. Everyone but you has an alibi.
But I do have an alibi. Right, Ava?
Huh?
You woke up with me this morning, and you never saw me leave my dorm.
During the brief amount of time we were together, I never saw you leave. What you did after I left for the game tournament, however, is anyone's guess.
Ava wanted to help me and Cash set up the tournament, so we told her to swing by early.
For that reason, I left Diana's dorm at 8:05 a.m. I know the exact time since her room has a clock. I probably entered the dining hall around 8:10 a.m.-ish.
So much for an alibi then.
Diana, don't tell me.
Holy smokes, it's all falling into place!
Are we sure there hasn't been some sort of misunderstanding?
Maybe.
It's not possible. Diana can't be the killer. No! I refuse to believe it!
Looks like some people here aren't willing to face the facts. That's not a problem. It will make them face the facts. Whether they like it or not, soon enough, nobody will be able to deny Diana's killed Wolfgang.
If it was Diana inside that boiler room, could she be the one who left the blood trail? 'Cause
Not
if
really.
so, that might be her blood on the knife, too.
Diana's blood? Are you saying she wounded herself?
No!
Wounded herself? What makes you think that?
I don't know. Why else would the killer's blood be on their own weapon?
Did we not already agree the killer was wielding a rolling pin?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they had both. The rolling pin in one hand, and the knife in the other.
No, I don't think
Dual-wielding
so.
weapons? Holy, this killer's next level.
I don't think so. That person's point is clearly impossible. They should realize that if I point out that piece of evidence...
Well, maybe they had both. The rolling pin in one hand.
No, that's wrong!
That's wrong!
No. The killer was only wielding the rolling pin during their confrontation with Wolfgang.
Exactly. Because then...
You
Yeah.
can tell just from looking at the pin. There are two handprints wrapped around the edge, as if the killer had been holding the pin like a tennis racket.
Yeah!
Which makes sense, because you can swing with more force if you use both hands. And that's what a killer wants when trying to knock out a grown man.
Exactly.
Then, who held the knife?
It wasn't the killer, so it was most likely the only other person in the boiler room.
Wolfgang?
Wolfgang Akire.
Wolfgang had the knife?
Wolfgang carrying a dangerous weapon? Bullshit!
If you were in his situation, wouldn't you? Wolfgang received an anonymous message asking him to meet in a basement, all whilst in the middle of a killing game. At that point, it doesn't matter how much of an optimist he is. He'd know better than to come unarmed.
Huh.
A knife isn't super hard to find either. Wolfgang probably just stole one from the kitchen.
Which he did.
Besides, if Diana is the one who got stabbed, it would explain the blood trail. Think about it. She arms herself with the rolling pin and attacks Wolfgang, getting hurt by him in the process. For some reason, possibly because of the blackout, she doesn't clean the blood trail she's leaving, and returns to her dorm room after.
That doesn't make sense.
No! That's wrong!
Huh?
I wasn't stabbed.
Yeah.
If I was stabbed, then I'd have an injury.
Yeah?
But there's nothing, right? There's nothing on me.
Depends. If a vein got nipped, you'd be seeing blood no matter the size of the cut. Of course, that also means a small cut will need bandaging, which I'm not seeing on you.
You may not see any injuries on Diana, but that doesn't mean they aren't there.
Huh?
Huh?
If she wanted, she could simply hide her injuries from view.
Like her makeup!
After all, someone like her has exactly what it takes.
Makeup! Her makeup, her makeup. How did Diana's talent, yeah.
I got it. Her talent. As the ultimate cosmetologist, Diana could easily cover her wounds.
It makes sense. With the right equipment, she could probably disguise even a bandaged wound.
As Diana's bunking partner, I've seen firsthand how many different cosmetics are inside her room. So unfortunately, I have to agree.
Well, Diana, did I get anything wrong?
No. No. But
Wait.
What is it, Kai?
Diana, did you just say no? As in, no, you're not wrong that I covered up my wounds? Oh, crap. You guys know what this means, right, guys? Diana basically just confessed!
Oh, man.
A confession? Are you for real?
It makes sense, though, doesn't it? Diana got wounded, which proves she got in a fight with Wolfgang. Which means all that stuff about Wolfgang going to the boiler room, all that stuff really did happen.
I see. I see now what you were saying. Diana, she lured Wolfgang to the boiler room by writing him that note. And when he arrived, she attacked him and killed him. And now, she's been lying this entire trial, hoping we would never suspect her. Yeah! How cruel!
Yeah! How cruel!
Diana, It wasn't me. I promise. It wasn't me.
To think she could preach about friendship after committing a violent crime.
And then try and sentence the rest of us to punishment.
Golly, you're right. If we voted for the wrong person, we would have been executed.
Exactly. But
That's so fucked!
that's how the killing game works, unfortunately.
Seriously, Diana? What the hell is your damage?
Can we at least hear Diana's side of the story?
Her side?
Okay.
Well, Diana has, I just think it's fair we listen.
What does it matter what she says? Look at the evidence. This case, it's closed. We know who the killer is.
Do we know that for sure?
If you really want to ask for Diana's side of the story, then do it after the vote.
No! No! No!
Vote? That's right. We have to vote for the killer. Diana, I've proven beyond a reasonable doubt that she's the killer. I've proven beyond a reasonable doubt, so...
No. No. No.
Why is it that when I hear her cry, the strange nagging feeling in my chest, why does a tiny part of me want to believe the thing she's saying? Why, all of a sudden, do I doubt myself?
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room. Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Then she fled the crime scene, hoping the rest of us would never learn the truth.
How could you, Diana? Poor Wolfie was only trying to keep us together.
But I would never murder Wolfgang.
If you don't have an alibi, then you obviously did.
But I wanted to believe so badly that you were innocent. Why didn't I see you for who you were?
If this goes on any longer, I'm gonna be sick.
What are we waiting for then? Let's get this over with and vote!
Is Diana telling the truth? Is Diana telling the truth? How is that possible when I already know the truth? It can't be possible, not unless...
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room. Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
No, that's wrong!
Hold on. Grace, you're overlooking a crucial detail.
Huh?
Do you recall the note I found in Wolfgang's blazer pocket? It asked him to meet in the boiler room at 8:15 a.m. But, according to the Tozu tablet, he died over an hour later at 9:35 a.m. That means Wolfgang didn't die right after he got to the boiler room.
Yeah, that's...
What's your point?
My point is that the killer had no reason to lure Wolfgang to the boiler room, and then wait over an hour to kill him.
Yeah, that's it. The timing is off.
There's no guarantee another person won't enter the room during that time. It's in the killer's best interest to be in and out of there as fast as possible.
Yeah.
When we originally discussed the note, we lacked the context to properly understand this time discrepancy. But if we go with your idea that Diana killed Wolfgang immediately, then that discrepancy becomes all too clear.
Yeah.
How do you know Wolfgang didn't just arrive late?
Because he left at that time.
He was already on his way when I ran into him at 8:10 a.m.
Exactly.
He must have arrived on time.
Same goes for the killer. I doubt Wolfgang would stay in the boiler room for long if no one came to meet him. For that reason, we can assume Wolfgang was knocked unconscious soon after he arrived. But there's such a long period of time between him being knocked out and him being killed.
Yeah.
Unless you want to tell me he and Diana were in an hour-long struggle, then I'm sure there's more to the mystery here.
Yeah, that's true.
Shut the fuck up!
Okay, what is it this time?
What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't you see this as a trick? All of Diana's blubbering and crying is just a farce to make us think she's innocent.
I wouldn't fall for a farce like that. My only concern is the evidence not adding up.
Heh. If you're still not convinced Diana's the killer, then let me show you something you overlooked. I call it undeniable fucking proof! I don't give a damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How can the killer be anyone but her?
Grace seems to know more about the crime scene than I do. But if it were true, she would have already realized the flaw in her argument.
I don't give a damn what Diana says. Not only is she the one person without an alibi, the blood from her wounds places her inside the exact same room where Wolfgang died. How can the killer be anyone but her?
If Diana lured Wolfgang downstairs, why would she take over an hour to kill him? It doesn't make sense. Not when there's a risk of someone else entering the boiler room.
What risk? Diana wouldn't have to worry about anyone walking in, because she could just lock the fucking door!
No!
Through those words!
The boiler room door can't be relied upon here. If Diana locked it, she would be trapping herself inside the boiler room.
Yep!
What?
The doorknob has been flipped so that the keyhole faces inside, while the lock faces outside. Had you investigated the crime scene more closely, you might have realized this detail sooner.
Yep.
In any case, locking the door would lock everyone inside the room, not outside. If Diana was the killer, she'd be better off leaving the door open.
How the heck do you even flip a doorknob? Sounds like something only a tradesperson could do.
Unscrew it and screw it up.
You really think so? Swapping a doorknob is easy. Well, last time I did anything like it was a while ago, but everyone here knows knobs are screwable, right? If you get a screwdriver and know what you're doing, you can rotate the doorknob quick smart.
If you can swap a doorknob, then I guess anyone can.
Yep.
Right on. Wait, are you saying that like it's a bad thing, or?
No, it just means that it can be anyone.
Is that why Diana remained in the boiler room after Wolfgang died? She had been locked inside?
Remained in the... No, because it's on the outdoor. She couldn't able to lock it.
What do you make of the footsteps then?
Yeah.
If they were Diana's, it would imply she escaped the boiler room. How do you suppose she did that?
Diana's way of escaping the boiler room, huh? From the evidence in the boiler room, I'm fairly confident I could deduce a method. I'm guessing it's the, tiny piece of metal?
This is it.
Yeah.
Near the boiler room door, I discovered a thin piece of metal. At first glance, it didn't look important, but if you were to fold it in half, theoretically, it would look like a hairpin.
Ah, she used the classic maneuver. Picking a lock with a hairpin. It can be done, it just takes a bit of practice.
Yeah.
Diana probably had this hairpin inside her makeup bag, so she used it to fiddle with the lock until it eventually came undone. Which, judging by the timing of her footsteps, happened late into the blackout.
Messing with a lock in pitch blackness. Whew, now that would be impossible for me.
Right. Even if Diana did access light, like through the Tozu trinket, undoing the lock would still be difficult.
Yeah.
Way too difficult of a situation to deliberately put herself in.
Yeah. In which case, there can mean only one thing. The killer locked the door. someone else
Got it.
locked the door.
Someone else must have locked the door.
Yeah.
What?
If we go off our current train of thought, the doorknob was rearranged so you could only lock it from the outside.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for Diana to rearrange the lock, enter the room, and deliberately trap herself inside, which means someone else must have locked the door.
Yeah.
I know this doesn't necessarily clear Diana of suspicion, but it's strange enough to warrant further investigation.
Yeah.
I'd rather resolve this thread before we move on to voting.
Good call.
Agreed. We could easily miss something important if we turn our noses away.
So, why did this mystery person close the door in the first place?
What if they saw the scuffle between Wolfie and Diana and closed the door to protect themselves?
Instead of seeking help? Or trying to stop the scuffle?
You say that like closing the door isn't exactly what you would do.
What kind of asshole do you take me for?
Any chance they locked it to prevent Diana from escaping?
And somehow unscrewed the doorknob without drawing attention to themselves?
Didn't you hear him? He's talking about the door being locked, not the doorknob being unscrewed.
Unless two entirely different people just so happen to interfere with the boiler room at two entirely separate intervals. The one who locked the door is most likely the one who flipped it, yes?
Yep.
Yes.
Then you should be wondering the same thing. How did they unscrew the doorknob without catching anyone's attention?
They were downstairs?
Yeah, doesn't sound possible.
Not in the moment, it isn't. But what if the doorknob had been swapped beforehand?
Yeah.
Say this person knew Wolfgang and Diana were coming to the boiler room. They could have swapped the knob in advance, waited for Diana and Wolfgang to enter, and then closed and locked the door.
So the flipping of the doorknob was premeditated?
With what we currently know, I'd wager it's our safest assumption.
Yep.
At least until we hear Diana's side of the story.
Let's hear her story.
Diana, since you were the last person with Wolfgang, your testimony could be our most valuable piece of evidence yet. You need to tell me what happened. If not for me, or for you, then at the very least, do it for Wolfgang's sake.
I'm sorry. I'm really
Huh.
I wanted to help. I wanted to make everything okay. But all I could do was be useless. All I could do was watch him die.
Oh, now things are making sense. And is this how we're going to introduce the 3-person body announcement thing? Because Diana saw it first, then Damon and Kai went in, and okay, now things are coming together. All right. Wow.
It's all my fault.
Don't worry, it's not your fault. It's the killer's.
All my fault. For doing the wrong thing.
So is this a confession, or...?
No, it's something else that I'm not sure. Actually, yeah, that's actually something. This could be something.
No!
Huh?
I didn't kill Wolfgang. And I don't know who did. But I still failed him as a friend.
Oh, okay. So Diana and Wolfgang was trapped in the boiler room, and then when the blackout happened, it. Okay.
I failed him then. And I failed him here. But if I told the truth, things would be worse than they already are. But now that I've said nothing...
Huh. Diana watched Wolfgang die?
It's okay, sweetheart. Come on now, take deep breaths.
Yeah, we'll believe you no matter what you say.
It's looking like Diana might actually be innocent. It's looking like that, but the nagging feeling in my chest still hasn't gone away. Damn it, what am I doing? Because of one gal, I've been doubting myself and jumping from one argument to another. I can't piece together my own thoughts. How can I possibly piece together this case? I need to get a grip on myself. I need to keep sight of myself and the goal of this killer. Whatever is thrown at me next, I need to preserve. Because if I don't, if everyone else here votes wrong, I won't leave this place alive. Is this where the break starts?
Has all this murder hubbub left your head in a tizzy?
Yeah, it is.
Perhaps you need a short break. Something to lighten the mood and let you collect yourself.
In fact, yeah, let me just go and take a bathroom break. I'll be back. And I'm back, and damn, I think I might be wrong with my prediction, because I've only just thought that the culprit just did all that stuff, and never considered that maybe someone was with there, because the whole killing, witnessing three people witnessing the body kind of threw me off. So if that didn't happen, then damn. Now I'm starting to look like an idiot for that prediction video that I just made earlier. But let's see what Tozu has to show.
Something like a nice cup of tea.
I don't drink hot drinks. I prefer Coke.
Welcome, one and all, to the first episode of Tozu's Tea Time.
Sure.
If you haven't already, please sit back and relax. Here, we do not use our brains, but deal only in gossip.
All right.
Now, a question from me to you. What are sheep good at, if anything?
Wool?
Most humans, and some sheep, tend to respond with a resounding absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Sheep cannot create art or invent medicine. For goodness sake, they can't even perform music.
But they can provide wool.
Their limited speech and quadrupedal locomotion prevents them from reaching the heights of humans. They're practically glued to the lower echelons of the food chain. No matter how hard sheep may try, they will never be anything more than their number tags. I can't say I like that answer. Too pessimistic for me. Plus, what of the sheep who still try? The sheep who realize their fate but continue to challenge it all the same.
I guess?
That they can be so determined to prove their worth, when humans have all but deemed them microwavable meals. Isn't that something admirable? What a shame our sheep had to be so misguided.
I guess so.
It seems that's about all the time we have.
All right, Tozu.
Thank you again for attending Tozu's Tea Time. No need for extravagant farewells. I've an inkling you'll be back for tea sooner than you can say Jack Robinson.
Jack Robinson. All right.
Who's Jack Robinson? I have no idea.
Okay.
Ta-ta!